Alright, so we're here to talk about costs of buying a home. So in the greater Montreal area or in the province of Quebec. Hi, if you're new to the channel, I'm Gabriel Wiseman, real estate broker. I've been doing this since 2010. I've helped over 200 happy clients to buy their properties or sell successfully, and that meant over $10 million in real estate. So one thing that's very important when you're buying a house is to get an inspection done. So inspection is one of the first costs you're going to see because it's one of the first things you're going to pay when you're buying a house. So you put an offer on a property, get it accepted. What's next? Conditions. So inspection, I've seen recently as low as $500 for a condo, and I've seen as high as $4,000 for an $8 million house with 3 electrical panels. So it could vary quite a bit. Depends on the type of property you're buying. But you could expect for most houses, I'd say 85%, 90% of sales, you're going to be seeing closer to $1,000, $1,500 for an inspection. Another cost that you're going to see afterwards is the notary. So the notary, you're going to have to pay for the notary. There's no avoiding that. Whether you're buying with the broker, without a broker, on your own, from your father, you're going to have to go to a notary. And that person is going to cost you about $1,400 is really the cheapest I've been seeing recently, all the way up to $2,000, $2,500 for a bit more expensive ones. But you should shop around, check, see who you feel more comfortable with, and make sure you don't choose the cheapest one necessarily. A good notary is important to make sure that all the titles are clear and everything is well done. One of the next expenses that you'll see that is the biggest one is the down payment. There's another video on that, on what you need when buying a house. But down payment, you need a minimum of 5% down in most cases. And with that, it's going to come a CMHC fee, which I'll explain a little later. For the down payment, what you're going to need is 5% all the way up to 20% or 100% if you don't want a mortgage. We're talking most people here do want a mortgage. So that will be 20% minimum if you want to avoid the CMHC fee, which is an insurance that I could explain later in another video. And the 5% down is the minimum insured. So forget about the insured, non-insured for now. So 5% down, that's the cost of the property. So if the property costs, say, $500,000, you're putting 5% down, that means you're paying $25,000. Hopefully my math is okay there. So here you've got a mortgage calculator. I personally like the Centris one. You could write that in Google or whatever your search bar is. And you write the price of the property. So here we're going to use $900,000. You put your cash down, which is your down payment. Here we're going to put, as an example, $200,000, which they calculate for you at 22%, $750,000 mortgage amount. Then you put your interest rate and amortization. Click on calculate, you get your monthly payment amount. And if you click on the monthly payment chart, you're going to get the interest and capital you pay per month, and it changes every month. So next, big one that some people tend to forget or don't calculate properly. There's some easy calculators online. You could just go on Google for that, is welcome tax. You can write welcome tax, land transfer tax, taxe de bienvenue here in Quebec. So that welcome tax is anywhere from 1% to 2% usually of the property value, but you could go online to calculate it because different cities like Montreal, for example, is going to have a different cost on anything above $500,000. So those are things that you need to consider. That's quite a big one. If you're buying a $500,000 property, that could easily go close to $8,000, $10,000. That's a big one. You should be getting that 1 to 3 months after going to the notary, after the house officially becomes yours. The city sends you that as a welcome, pay us now. Here we can search for the Centris mortgage calculator, which I personally like just because it's easy to use, good for mortgage calculation, and also the property transfer tax, or known as the welcome tax. So you're going to put in your city here. In this case, I'll put in Montreal and click on Lachine, for example. Put the price of the property, let's click $1 million. Then a municipal assessment. Very important to put if it is higher than the purchase price, because they're going to calculate based on the higher of the two. In this case, it would be over $15,000 for the property transfer tax. The next costs are pretty much just extra costs that they could happen, they could not. It depends on your situation. Best thing is to ask your broker about it. So one thing that you need to check, or that you need to know, is if you're going to be doing renos. Perhaps you want to get some quotes beforehand to see if you're doing them yourselves. Maybe you're going to want to check the cost of ceramic or flooring or whatever you're changing in your house. So that is could be a big cost, or it could be no cost at all, depending on what you're getting and what you want to get into in terms of projects and renovations. So then We've got fixes, you know, if there's little things that come up at inspection, or there's little things that you notice the faucet is leaking, little things that you need to fix, or big things like, you know, foundation issues, and there's you got to lift the house and redo the whole foundation. I've seen those jobs go for, you know, as much as $150,000, $200,000, $300,000 for just a regular property. So those could be quite significant. So those are things that you definitely need to look into beforehand. Another one that we see not that often, but often enough, is title insurance. I'll give you a classic example where that happens is the land survey, the certificate of location, is not ready on time, or the seller didn't want to provide one, and you signed off on it and they offered. That could be costing you $300, $500, $800 when you buy the property. So title insurance, just to protect you on titles, and that could always ask me if you have any questions about that. Okay, so for the CMHC costs, that one, it depends if you're going to have an insured or non-insured mortgage. For that, it's a bit more complex, so I will explain that in another video. All you need to know for now is if you're paying 20% or more, it's a non-insured mortgage. This has nothing to do with home insurance. That will cost you nothing because you won't be getting it. If you're paying less than 20%, then automatically in Canada, you absolutely need to have CMHC fees, which are tied on to your mortgage. So you won't see them as an upfront fee, but you will be paying an extra on your mortgage for that. So just know that if you're putting 5% down, which is the minimum, then at that point you will be paying those extra fees. Here we're going to look at the CMHC mortgage calculator. It's a good way to figure out the exact cost of the CMHC fee. Here you're just going to write what type of buyer you are, so first-time home buyer or home buyer, the property type, existing or new. Then the purchase price, here we'll simulate $750,000. Then we're going to put our down payment, which won't work if you put over 20% because then there is no CMHC fee. Here, $100,000, 25 years amortization, click on calculate, and then we get here the $20,150 for the mortgage loan insurance cost, which is your CMHC fee, which is not one-time fee. It's actually tacked on to your mortgage. Okay, so now that we've gone through the costs of buying a home, the house is yours. The next costs are the ongoing costs, what it takes to stay in the house and not be foreclosed on, to not lose the house or not declare bankruptcy or have to sell, which kind of sucks. If you're selling, usually it's because you want to upsize, you want to change houses, you have an exciting new project, you're changing countries, you're doing something awesome, you're not, you know, selling because you're strapped for cash. So simple, you know, ongoing costs, there's heating. There's heating, it could be electric, it could be hydro, it could be heating oil, which they're phasing out, less and less houses have these, or you could have natural gas with Energy. So there's those three main types. Most of them now are going to be electric though, and they're phasing out more and more anything that isn't electric. So that's one, which is going to be part of your hydro bill anyways, which brings me to the next cost, which is electricity. So that one is going to be an important one. So here we could go on Hydro-Quebec consumption by address. When you search that, you should get to this website and click on estimate the cost. There you just have to write in the address and confirm that you are not in Quebec. And now we're ready to see the price. Voila, we've got $3,120 for this one. And then again, estimating costs, I cannot do that for you because it depends on what kind of property we're looking for. We could have as low as $30 a month all the way up to thousands a month. So it depends on what type of property we're looking for. It depends on your heating and habits of usage for your lights, for your heating, for your cooking, all of that. And hot water, which could be a big one. Hot water is another one that could be a cost. So if you have any rented appliances, rented furniture, anything rented, that's going to be an extra cost to add in there. But if you don't have anything rented, one common one is either a propane tank for, say, a fireplace, or a hot water tank. That could be also a rented one, which is quite common to see. So yeah, I've got strategies for you as well. If you have a rented one, you want to have it purchased, there's strategies to get cheaper discount on that, or a discount on buying it. So yeah, give me a call for those. So after paying your electric bill, your hydro, you've got also insurance. So you're gonna have homeowners insurance, which is mandatory. You have to have that. That also ranges quite a bit depending on what coverages you want. But there's insurance brokers if you don't want to take care of that, or if you love doing this and you like spending hours on the phone with insurance brokers or insurance companies, there are plenty to choose from, so you could spend hours and hours having a lot of fun. So there are a bunch of other bills, right? You could have your food, your internet, your all your subscriptions, whether it be apps, Netflix, whatever. So all of those are going to be fun bills to pay every month. So don't forget that you're going to still have to pay those, your car bill if you have one. So yeah, the house is just one extra thing, and the mortgage is going to be your main one usually. So the mortgage is split into the interest part, and you've also got the principal part. So the portion you're paying down on your house every month, and the portion that you're paying on interest, so going to the bank. It's going to be one big payment, but that has those two portions that you should know about to at least know how much is going down every month. If you have more questions about mortgage, you can ask your mortgage broker, your real estate broker, or even your bank or bank representative. They should all be able to help you with any questions that you have on that. If you have any fixes, repairs, maintenance, all of that is something you should budget for, because we know if you have a roof, which I hope you do, well then you're going to have to pay, changing the roof every 25 years or so, or 15 years, depending on the type of roof. It could be every 70 years if you have a metal roof. It really depends on the type of roof, but all these things are things that accumulate, and you're going to have to change regularly, whether it be your windows, roof, foundation. Even foundations don't last forever. Your electrical cables, if you want to do updates, say on your bathroom, your kitchen, these are all things that should be factored in terms of how much you put aside every month. Even though it's not a recurring cost that you see every month in your bank account, it is something that will come out eventually. Thanks for watching the video. If this information was helpful to you, and if you need or want more information, feel free to book your free personalized consultation in the comments below.